We have 11 more Sundays, if my math is correct, until the kickoff of the NFL season. In that meantime, we're going to draft bazillions and bazillions of best ball teams. So why don't we draft one, possibly two more today? Let's get it. All right, StreamYard. StreamYard is not cooperating with me, which is great. We love that they decide to do things like that as we go live. StreamYard, you've been great. We're so excited that you've been on the ball the last week or two. Good morning, Omega. Good morning, South. Martin, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to Jonathan. We are going to fire into a Drafters Championship. Let's just go ahead and register right now. I almost click slow on accident. And don't forget that they have a great promo going on right now where they are doubling all of their ticket giveaways through the month of June. Through every tier, I think it's 10 drafts you get to right now. 25 you get to, 50 you get to, and then there's so on and so forth. You can see all the full giveaways for that on their website in our Discord, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. I'm going to try to get to 50 before the end of the month. Might be a little bit tough. Morning, Chris. Good morning, Marie. RGT, Versier. The whole gang is here. We are ready to draft. And the draft is starting. And if we get through this one quick enough, we will go ahead and fire our second one. We got the 8 spot. I see Self. I see Ralph Wiggum. I see DeLudo. I see Tebow. If I missed you, just call it out. I am the KY is usually in these drafts as well. And let's figure out the best place for my face to be during this draft. What works best for you guys? If I do this, is this a little bit better for everybody? If I'm up in this corner so you can see everything. Hopefully that helps. If you prefer me in the bottom left, we can move back to the bottom left. Chris has the 7th pick, so that's Lego. Chris is close to hitting that 50 drafts. Tebow already hit his 50. Self is about to hit 10. That's true. I agree, Versier. I agree. This room is rough. Going to have to get wild. I agree. It's rough. But let's get some music going. Let's relax a bit. Let's start. We haven't started from the front in a while. Let's do that. As we're getting ready to kick off, I will go over what my overlay is showing us. So my overlay is these percentages that you see on screen. Unfortunately, my mouse doesn't show up, but my first percentage is my tournament percentage for that player. So if we're looking at Jamar Chase, you see it's 10%. Well, let's look at somebody that I am insanely overweight on. So you can see that Nico shows up at 31% in red. The next one is how many times I drafted that player with my first quarterback, my round 1 draft pick, my round 2 draft pick, and that player's projected overall ownership with the round 1, or the second one is the round 2 player. And that is what helps me get some of the unique teams that I've really been focusing on this summer. That's been my biggest takeaway is I want to not get super insane, but you don't have to get insane to draft unique teams. So that is something that I've been, and Self does it right here. He pulls up Puka, which is really fun because I don't think that's somebody that people are especially pulling up. So now he's going to get Puka here and his round 2 and round 3 pairings are probably going to be quite unique. We see Nico get pulled up here as well. You can tell that this is a Spike Week draft. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Do I take Gibbs? We're going to do it. We're going to take Gibbs, and I'm going to see what I can do with Gibbs here at the 8 spot. So now that I've taken Gibbs, you can see some of this other stuff start to populate. And you can see that Gibbs, Ladd McConkey, 19%. Gibbs, AJ Brown is 18%. So those are very common pairings. And even though like Gibbs is 18% with AJ Brown, I have none of that pairing. But I don't know if that's something that we will do today. See neighbors. What are we missing here? I think all my percentages should be up to date. I did an update. I made sure all my lineups were sent in before we started this. I wanted to I've been firing quite a few of these drafts this weekend. This is my 30th, so I got to try to get 20 in the next 8 days or so, which is doable. That's doable. I'll probably be firing a lot next weekend to get to that 50 number. That is going to be the goal. All right, we are on the clock here. Wow, Gibbs is real interesting because his exposure is pretty flat across the board here. Nobody really jumps out as a huge leverage point. Let's grab the biggest one though. Let's do a Gibbs Bucky Irving team, which is real dangerous in a room like this. But the projected ownership between Gibbs and Bucky Irving was 5%, which is higher than what I would want to do. But we'll go ahead and do it. Kind of weird. I've seen most players have guys that are like 2-3% or less. Yeah, ASB Higgins, that's fun. That'll flip it. That's another way you can do it. You can just do your normal first round pick, and then you can just pull up a second and third rounder. It doesn't always have to be a first rounder. You can flip the board from the second and third round, fourth and fifth sometimes, and then it starts to get a lot more murky after that. Wow, Gibbs is just because Gibbs is one of those players that I think every type of drafter likes to get. So your 0 RB drafters will still like to mix in some Gibbs hero RB teams, I would say, and then your guys that like running backs, of course, are going to like Gibbs. Gibbs is probably too versatile to do this with, and I'm making a mental note of that right now because I do like Gibbs when he falls, but I don't know if there's actually a leverage point. And you definitely see the difference when you start looking at the numbers with Bucky Irving here. I mean, some of these guys are low, but like we're seeing 1, 2, and 3% for a number of guys. And even the guys that Gibbs is low on is like 4 and 5%, which is still good, but yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. So I am putting a mental star next to Jahmyr Gibbs' name for the remainder of the summer, and we'll keep checking in on that too to make sure that's not changing. But I don't expect it to change much. I think our first and second rounds are starting to solidify. I mean, obviously, you got the CMC move up a bit, but other than that, without an injury, I don't think you're going to see much more movement. All right, we see Chase Brown go. So I want to play in this range down here where we're seeing some of these guys. So we're not going to win at the wide receiver position with this team, really. We've already established. So my thought process is let's probably take Lamar on this team. He's 4% with Gibbs. He's 1% with Bucky, and I bet that gives us some leverage here. And I think I can attempt to catch up at other positions later. And this is one of those builds that's either that we are really playing with fire. We can't make any wrong moves. If we do, this team will probably blow right up in our face, is what I would say. So when we do our inevitable auto pick, that will just absolutely destroy this team. So I'm excited to see what that auto pick is. Over the weekend, I was building a team that I really enjoyed, but I was really threading the needle, and I missed one of my picks, even though it was late, and I autoed Russell Wilson, much to the dismay of the other 19 or 18 people I had already drafted. So we all do it, and we hate it a ton. Wow, I've drafted 17% George Kittle, and he is on every single one of my Bucky Irving teams. So every time I've drafted Bucky Irving right now, I know that I've drafted George Kittle, which is telling me a few things. I haven't drafted a lot of Bucky Irving teams on this site, which is something I am making note of. And we're going to fire DJ Moore in here. He is paired quite well with Gibbs, but I think we've gotten unique enough that I can take DJ Moore here as wide receiver 1 and be happy. Also, if you're taking Jameson Williams over DJ Moore, what are you doing with your life? Especially on drafters? Wild. Wild. Every site does have these players that I look at, and I'm like, I don't even hate Jameson Williams. I'm not even getting into the Jameson Williams wars, but I mean, I think Tet and DJ Moore are clear picks over Jameson Williams. I think Devonta Smith is a clear pick over Jameson Williams on drafters. I think there's arguments that can be made for. I mean, I think you could argue DK Metcalf, to be perfectly honest. I think you could argue Cortland Sutton. On drafters? We're talking about drafters. Cumulative scoring. Yeah, it's just to know this is the same point. Me and Nolan are making the same point here. Non-pod PPR. Ugh. I can tell myself a story about Jameson and playoff tournaments is easy. Like, thank you. But we know who he is. We know who he is. Not a bad pick, but just a little too high for me in this format. I would prefer him in playoffs. So I will get my exposure on DraftKings. is what I will say. Are we talking about Xavier Worthy, Jonathan? Talking about the fastest guy in the NFL? I would have taken Xavier Worthy. I'm not. I wasn't. So, Deludo, I wasn't making fun of your one pick here, of you taking Jameson Williams. I was more so pointing out his ADP, where he's getting drafted over DJ Moore, Ted McMillan, and guys of that ilk. Once he gets to this DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith range, like, I still would prefer those other guys. But we are drafting a portfolio. We are not drafting. Oh my God, we get Zay Flowers. I don't even know how to click the button, because I was for sure thinking you guys were going to take Zay Flowers from me here. I had already moved on. You're going to give me Zay Flowers? This is a joke? I'll take him. It's true. Shador is the fastest guy in the NFL right now. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do it. I had already looking past Zay Flowers, but I will take him. We will stack Lamar with Zay. Zay Flowers is a guy that, like, I will sometimes draft on other sites, but I just very much prefer him on drafters. Yeah, this is totally fair, Deludo, that you don't draft Tet and DJ Moore. We all have our own process. Tet, I'm trying to get more of. He's been kind of a blind spot player for me a little bit, and I'm trying to be cognizant of drafting him a bit more. I don't want to be like significantly under or overweight on him. He's a player that I do just want to be right in the sweet spot on. So I'm trying to make sure I get him enough. So I have been looking at him more. All right, we are on the clock here. The most mispriced guy is fucking Roma Dunze. What are we doing here? 6th round Roma Dunze? Vomit bag. All right. I want to have fun with this team, and we're going to grab Travion Henderson for a 3rd running back, and you can't stop me, because I think that's a fun pick. 70% Tet Martin? That's true Sicko status. I love it. Chris here says, who are you? What have you done with Rob? 3 running backs by round 6. Yeah, we're trying to make sure that we play around with different builds occasionally. And I think that I want to occasionally mix in these type of builds and see what I can build with them. Again, I think these type of builds are some of the shakiest ones to do, because I think one mistake and you've blown up your team. So the goal is to not blow the team up. And you probably got to get lucky occasionally. Like, I feel like that Zay Flowers pick was lucky. Not that I wouldn't have taken a different wide receiver there. Jennings, Olave, Waddle are all significant choices, but just getting that correlation with Lamar feels fun. Versace says, jokes aside, how do you feel about going robust like this? And then also investing in the elite tight end quarterback. I like doing it that way because I feel like when people go robust running back, they feel like they can only draft wide receivers as well. So I feel like a lot of the robust running back teams try to aim, and I'd have to look at the data to make sure I'm right on this, but just from doing enough drafts, I feel like any robust teams, people feel like, and especially people like us that like to draft hero and zero RB teams, as soon as we go robust, we sort of go into butt clinching mode, and we're like, well, now I got to just make sure I fire at the wide receiver position constantly, and it just leads them to the 3 quarterback, 3 tight end builds. And I think when you do something like this, I mean, we saw the difference, right? Gibbs, Irving, Lamar Jackson. I'll have to check the Spike Week tools to see if that team's been drafted yet, but I bet it hasn't. I bet there's not a Gibbs, Irving, Lamar Jackson team yet, or there's very, very, very few. So Diggs does go. He would have been in consideration. Do I want Josh Downs or do I want Jaden Reed? Both guys that I clearly love. Over 20% drafted for me on both players. Let's go with Reed on this one. Unfortunately, the week 17 correlation does not matter, but I do like Jaden Reed. He will be one of my highest owned wide receivers. And I feel like I already have a floor pick there with Zay Flowers, so I can get more of those later. Let's grab Jaden Reed in the 7th. But I think that's one thing to consider is like when you are doing different builds. Jonathan did the work for me. There's one other Gibbs, Irving, Lamar team so far through like what, thousands and thousands and thousands of teams drafted. We were able to get our team quite unique just from the rip there by getting those 3 guys. So we didn't do anything crazy. All we did was grab Gibbs, pull Bucky up just a little bit, and grab Lamar. And we get a quite different build than other people are getting, which is fun. I have another guy that I've just started to like pulling up, and maybe we'll do it in the next draft. But made a really fun team the other night. We were discussing it. Hacker was actually in that draft as well, and we were drafting it. Okay, we are on the clock here, and I think that I'm pretty low on Cooper Kupp, but we'll take Kupp. We'll fill up these receivers a little bit here. So through 8, we have Gibbs, Bucky, Lamar, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Travion Henderson, Jaden Reed, and Cooper Kupp. Oh, and perfect. I should have. So the tiebreaker for Jaden Reed and Josh Downs, I didn't even think about it. Should have been Jaden Reed's on the, I believe he's on the thumbnail this week. So yeah, you can use the Spike Week tools to figure this stuff out on drafters, which is great. Draft IQ is very, very handy. Let you see a lot of information through your drafts, what your opponents are doing in your drafts. and it helps you understand your portfolio of teams. So make sure you are signing up for the Spike Week tools if you have them, and really play through them because you'll learn quite a lot. All right. Oh man, tomorrow night is going to be a ton of fun at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing the Best Ball Basement, which we premiered last week. And I think tomorrow night is going to be one of our most controversial episodes of the entire summer. Normally, we're going to be drafting on the Best Ball Basement and just like talking about certain topics. But we have to stay focused tomorrow night. We are naming the best player to wear a jersey number. And we're doing it from the 4 major sports. And I took hours to compile this list this week. And I still have a few more hours of work I want to do on it to make it a little more legible. Like in terms of like, I guess more presentable, not legible. But I think it's gonna cause chaos in the chat between Eric and myself and everybody. It's gonna be insane. I think people are gonna be. I think some numbers are clearly like we're just gonna pass because some of them are weird numbers. All right, we are on the clock here. I don't love anything here. How much Ingram do I have? 7%. Haven't drafted him with either of my first or second round picks. Yeah, let's grab Ingram. Leaves me open to only drafting 2 tight ends if I want to. I think it's fine. RGT says Dennis Rodman may own several numbers. So Dennis Rodman leads me to another point that I came up with a rule that the player had to wear the number a majority of their career. This is the one that I asked in Discord. I had to make a decision on number 88 because number 88 was not universal. I also did this a very specific way. I'll outline it again tomorrow night, but I found 4 lists and I sort of used those 4 lists. If they were unanimous, I just put that player across the 4 lists that other people, like other like journalist sites had compiled. And then if there was discrepancies, I tried to do the one that had the most. And if there were some that I just had to make a decision, there wasn't many of those. Some of them made me very sad, though, is what I will say. Yes, NASCAR is out. NASCAR would have made some of them much easier. But NASCAR is out. We're only doing football, basketball, hockey, and baseball. Did I say baseball? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey. So you'll see tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun show. And I have a feeling it's going to run long. Probably. Oh, baby. Things are getting a bit stressful here. We have 10 seconds. Let's take an upside wide receiver. Let's take Kyle Williams. We have Henderson. Shoot for upside with the Patriots on this. Correct. That is obvious. That was the only number 80 I could think of. Not a common number. First here, my streams, unless it is a marathon stream, do not run that long. So, unless I'm planning a marathon stream, they're usually capped. Today might be long. I think we're going to fire 2 of these drafts. But I am very particular about trying to keep shows at certain lengths. However, we have 101 jersey numbers to go through tomorrow. I've also debated on, do we just start at 0-0 or do we start at 99? But I think we have to start at 0-0. I think we have to start at 0-0. And then I have a topic for next week, but we'll reveal that tomorrow night. Yes. Actually, I'm not going to say it. But 99 is an easy one. 99 is an easy one. What's going on, Don Easy? 99 was the example I gave when I pitched the idea on the show last Monday. I just said, if I said number 99, you would say Wayne Gretzky. I don't think that's not spoiling anything. I think we all knew that one. So that's why I gave that one as an example last week. And that's as far as I will go. I'm not revealing anything else about this list today. But we are going to have a blast. All right, so we have Lamar, Gibbs, Bucky, Travion, DJ Moore, Zay, Jaden Reed, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Williams, Evan Ingram. I'm just going to do some scrolling here. I think we just grab Caleb Williams here and just wrap up Chicago as our second stack. Caleb with DJ Moore. Don't have a ton of Caleb Williams, so I think it's fine here. Don't tell anybody that I have 41% Trey Benson. Don't let the world know that I have 41% Trey Benson. I thought I had 25% Javonte Williams, which I was like, I know I'm drafting him, but not at that clip. Mr. Popinski is saying this beat slaps. Shout out to Jesse Wilkins for all of our music. Absolutely crushes it with all the beats. Just an absolute master at making beats. He's been doing it for years, folks. Sierra likes taking Javonte, especially when he falls to the 130s, and I agree. I think he's fine. Like, he's not a stand guy for me. Like, I'm not running to the podium to draft him, but I'm walking up there. I'm walking up there and drafting them. I think this is the perfect Trey Benson team. So we're going to do that. I get Gibbs, Bucky, and Travion. And I can have Trey Benson waiting in the wings for when James Conner goes down in week 4 with an injury. Not wishing that on anybody. It's just he's old. And I've been betting against James Conner for years, unsuccessfully. So we're going to keep doing it. That is my hard-headed stance of the year. Does the data back it up? No. Should I be doing it? Probably not. Will I continue to? Yes. Because I am also a fun drafter. And if I'm not having fun drafting, then why am I even drafting? And I do not have fun when I click James Conner. I just see rage. So James Conner will be a very specific tournament type. And I think that tournament is the Eliminator. Maybe. And I'll find a reason not to do that. I will make reasons to not do it in that tournament too. Because I take him, Terrence. I am not sitting here saying that I love Javonte Williams, but when no one's looking, we close our eyes and we click the Javonte Williams button. And then we know that we're lighting that $10, $20, $5, $3, whatever contest we're doing it in on fire, probably. And we scream from the rooftop. I did this for the portfolio. And we move on to our other 92% of teams. All right, what do we got for wide receivers around here? So this is a funny one. I'll show it to you guys in a second. Actually, I'll just show you now. 10% Pat Bryant makes me chuckle because my exposure on DraftKings to Pat Bryant is out of control. Also, thank you. I almost took Isaiah Likely at my last draft spot, but we're just going to take him now and probably wrap up tight end there with Evan Ingram and Isaiah Likely. So we love that. But I didn't bring it up, and I wasn't talking about it because you guys were bringing up how this is a fun pocket of tight ends. And I agree. I do like this pocket of tight ends. It is quite fun. Quite fun indeed. Terrence's top 3 fun guys to draft are Scatterbo, Keaton Mitchell, and Isaiah Likely. I probably need to draft more Scatterbo. That's my one scared spot right now, which I do not like playing games scared. But taking either of the Giants running backs scares me, so I've been avoiding it, trying to wait for news. But I do feel like I should be grabbing more of them. I think that is a flaw in my game currently. So I would like to fix that. We're sad that Pat Bryant didn't fall back to us. Didn't expect him to. That was the goal. Wide receiver is quite gross right now. Don't think it's going to get better though. So do we just take gross Jack Beck, or let's grab Xavier Leggett? I haven't grabbed him on drafters yet. Let's go ahead and give him a shot. Carolina won't, so we might as well. I am the KY has more Singletary than Scatterbo. I just don't have a take on it. I don't know what to do with it. I think that I'm doing the worst case. I think not drafting him is probably worst case thing you could be doing. And that's what I'm doing. So I think that's a giant flaw. I think I should be mixing them in. So one of the things that I need to work on. All right, the next song we play, we're going to start it. And I need to name it after a player. So this beat that's playing now, in the chat as it plays, I need it to be named after a player. So when it comes to you, let me know who you think it should be. Oh shit, I forgot to take a Zyrtec today. I need to do that after the stream. The allergies have started coming for me the older I've gotten. Spring into summer, no bueno. No bueno at all. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, what else do we have going on here? I guess Jalen Noel's the play here. Yeah, I do think he's going to be a fan favorite. Too bad he plays in New York City, which is actually New Jersey. Oh, Lamar. I like Lamar for this song. I like it. If anyone can sell me on a different player, try to before the song ends. But for now, Lamar is leading this song name. Yeah, nice and smooth. Smooth beat. Lamar so smooth. Does not feel like we have 5 picks left on this team. I feel like I've done everything I want to do with this team. But sure. Shaw. We'll draft some more players. The question becomes, with our next pick, do we want to swing for upside, or do we want the guy that we know is going to probably churn out a couple of games for us? Let's grab Nick Chubb, because I'm not going to draft him too much this year. Let's go ahead and grab Nick Chubb. I think he's fine. All right, so this is going to be, seems like we agree on this. This is going to be the Lamar Jackson song. All right, so there's Lamar Jackson. All right, I need a name for the next one. as well. So Chubb, we got Benson with some upside, Travion with some huge upside. We got Gibbs and Bucky to anchor the running back room. Lamar and Caleb Williams, I think, is a more than fine quarterback pairing. Evan Ingram with Isaiah Likely. I feel we can stop at 2. If we decide to take a third, we could, but I don't really think it's necessary. The wide receivers are DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Williams, Xavier Leggett, Jalen Noel. I feel like I've named 20 players, but we are only entering round 17 right now. So I just feel like this team in particular has a lot of flexibility. I really like it. I like it. I feel like we are threading the needle on this team. Let's see this song. This song's pretty smooth too. This might be another quarterback. I don't think this is a wide receiver song. This could be a Gibbs song. This could be Jahmyr Gibbs. Slayton's the receiver I was hoping fell back to us. So we're going to draft Darius Slayton here. I think in round 17, Darius Slayton is totally fine. Juju? Oh, bruh. This is not a Juju song. This is not a Juju song. I think this is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it's just too smooth. Then you get your little jump cut there when the beat drops. All right, our next song is already named. This is the Malik Neighbors song. Oh, we think Gibbs deserves a better beat. All right. We'll keep that as pending then. We'll keep that as pending. Jinty for the last one. All right, all in favor of Jinty for that last song, let me know. Yeah, I made him give me some of his more toned down beats. He is capable of more, but these are some of the more toned down ones. We're at 14% Keaton Mitchell. We might be too high. We're gonna take A.O. Manor. I want one more upside receiver that I really like to add to this room. So that's what we're gonna do. Thank you so much, Mr. Popinski. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All of Jesse's music is on Spotify. There is a link in the description as well. So if you guys are ever just looking for some tracks to vibe to, their different albums are themed a little bit differently sometimes. He just dropped a new one, which I think is more like deep housey vibes. He did a... What did he do last? He just did his deep housey vibes one, I think. I think the one before that was sort of the retro, like the 80s synthwave. I think synthwave was the one before that. And then he also has the official Hometown Ghost Stories album, which is not all spooky vibes, but it's a lot of the songs we use on Hometown Ghost Stories. And he has plenty of other albums as well. So if you're looking for beats, some of them do have lyrics occasionally, but I think that they are just good vibe albums. Taj Brooks going is sad. That's who I thought was going to be great to add to this team. All right, I will rename that last one the Gene T. This one here is the Jamar Chase song. I haven't drafted Kyle Monangai. I don't think he's relatively that great of a pick, but if I am going to draft him on any team, this feels like the one. So let's do it. That was our 6 RB. If you're ever going to do 4 tight ends, I think this is the way to do it here from the 11 hole. Just a pure punt and then just like smash Gesicki, Schultz, Theo Johnson, and then get the upside with Arroyo. Not generally a 4 tight end guy, but if you are going to do it, I think this is a masterclass on how to do it. I don't have tickets to give away today, but we will be giving more away in the future. But we will have more in the future for sure. I want another receiver. I'm going to grab Royals. Let's just take the shot. Let's just take one more shot. I feel like we got a good mix of wide receiver upside here to mix in with some of our pretty good receivers. So the final team, Lamar and Caleb Williams. It's a 2-6-10-2 build, by the way. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Travion Henderson, Trey Benson, Nick Chubb, Kyle Monangai. Wide receivers are DJ Morze, Flowers, Jaden Reed, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Williams, Xavier Leggett, Jalen Noel, Darius Slayton, Alec Iomanner, Jalen Royals, Evan Ingram, and Isaiah Likely. I think this team slaps, to be honest. I think we sort of threaded the needle every which way we were supposed to on this team. I like it a lot. I don't think we can draft a better team than that, but we're going to try. Let's go ahead and jump into one more of these fast drafts. We need 10 more. So if you're interested in drafting, now's the time to jump in. Yeah, but I think that goes back to the 3 quarterback discussion. And I don't feel like having the 3 quarterback discussion today. We've really been diving into that a lot lately. I need a name for the song, by the way. I think this is a wide receiver song for sure. But let me know as we're waiting for this draft to fill. Eat a few more on this lovely Sunday. It's about to be way too hot in New England the next few days. Not excited about that. Good to know, Tebow. Good to know. We're not doing the Ray Carew song. Jesse did murder the beat, but probably not fast enough for Henry Ruggs, right? We already have a neighbor. We already played the Malik Neighbor song. I don't have a Justin Jefferson song yet. Oh, No Cap says that it feels like a Lad song. I don't know if it feels like a Lad song. I feel like it has that aura moment when it breaks down where like the guy should just be standing there like he's the greatest. And that's why I do understand Jamar Chase for this song, but I do think it's like a Jefferson song because I think Jefferson has claimed to be the best receiver in the league. And then he's just vibing, right? Self says Puka or JJ. Feels like a hybrid. He's going to go with likely. DeLuto is AJ Brown. This one is controversial. We are controversial. RGT says that JJ needs to have a quick enough beat to gritty to. If you're a master of the gritty, you can gritty to anything. All right, everyone's saying it's not fast enough for JJ. That's fair. AJ Brown makes sense. AJ Brown has that I'm the best aura. I'm not saying he is the best, but he has that aura that he would kind of do the Terrell Owens on the star, like when the beat breaks down here. Actually, the song ended, but you know what I mean. You know where I was going. We'll come back to that in the future. We were very divided on that song. I think these next few are on Jesse's. I refuse to do Tyreek. BTJ was a good one. Nico. This one does have a name, but it's not a player, so if something does make sense, we can do that. All right, we just need a few more for this draft. We are. We're doing one more. We're waiting for it to fill now. So we're already registered. We're jumping into one more. Oh. Fractured ankle? No bueno, Tebow. Unfortunately, you're going to feel that for the rest of your life. I didn't fracture it. I severely rolled my ankle playing volleyball like, God, 12 years ago now, maybe longer. I felt it for a year, and then recently, this past winter, I rolled it really good once, and then 3 weeks later, because I didn't give myself any time to heal, I rolled it again, and it was golf ball size. Like, it looked like a softball was on my ankle. And I don't feel it every day, but there are days that you do feel it. We need a few more for this drafters draft. Martin says some of his best work has come while he's on paid meds. Fair. Fair. Sometimes I feel like I should write my ghost stories on pain meds. Really get into the mindset. Highest accidental exposure player. Let me pull up my Spike Week tools, and I will tell you. As the draft starts, I can still probably get this in. Let's go to our draft. Let's see what spot we have. Well, the other thing's loading as well. 7 spot. I would much prefer. I like the ends much better. So Deludo's in this one. South's in here. I am the KY. We got Lego in here as well, and Ralph. South just hit his 10th, so he'll be getting a couple tickets. Deludo, you're close to your 50. Sweet. Lego's right there as well. I can't see how many Ralph has. Trader Joe is in here. Let's do it. Let's switch songs, and then let me look at my exposures. So this is my total exposures across all. You want my accidental highest? Some of these are more on purpose than others. My accidental highest is Pat Bryant at 22%. Oh, I guess the other guy that's at 22% is sort of accidental, but I like him. That's Jalen Wright. I'm guessing that's more DK than anything. Yeah, DK is where I got a lot of him. I think you guys can guess my highest exposure player. I think I tipped it earlier. So we do see Chase go at the 101, as he should. As he should. Do you find it interesting on drafters that Bijan is going over Barkley in these drafts more? That's intriguing. You accidentally have 17% Jamar. I would love 17% Jamar. That seems like it's fun. I've had it in the past, but not this year with him never dropping out of the 101. I would purposely have 1,000,000% Jamar if I could. All right, boys. Are we ready to have some fun? We're going to pull Brian Thomas up to the 107. We're going to pull Brian Thomas up to the 107. That is the play here. All right, my number 1 exposure is Trey Benson. Number 2 is a wide receiver. Does anyone want to guess? So Barnes says player exposures are overrated. Have 53% Jamar last year and finished with 2% advance rate. All my teams were 0 and hero RB. And I would say that player exposures are quite important. And I think that there's probably a lesson in this because first of all, how did you have 53% Jamar Chase last year? That's insane. I love it. But I think the lesson is, and how did you draft those teams? because last year historically was bad for zero RB. But if you looked at, this is not me bragging because I actually ended up having one of my worst years based on playoff results, but I think advance rate is nonsense. So I think that thing that you're focused on there is the wrong thing. And I had one of my best advance rates last year, even though I didn't draft Saquon Barkley. And it's because I was very deliberate on how I drafted my zero and hero RB teams last year, and player selection and all that fun stuff. So I think it's I think those are the lessons you should be looking for in that. Yes, it was harder to do, of course, last year. All right. So when we grab Brian Thomas here, what we can see is that Lad is at 3%. I did a Lad team last time. We also see that Jonathan Taylor is drafted with him 1% of the time, and Garrett Wilson is drafted with him 0, T. Higgins 0, Bucky Irving 0. So I think I want to try to do a Brian Thomas, Jonathan Taylor team. I'm not drafting a ton of Jonathan Taylor, so when I do, doing something weird like this feels better. So we're going to do that. So guesses were DJ Moore and Pat Bryant. Jaden Reed is my second highest exposure at 30% right now, which is wild. Yeah, I went heavy on Jamar Chase last year as well because he's fun. He's one of my favorite players to draft. I think he's just absolutely game changing, and single week upside is huge with him. I mean, obviously with most of the first round picks they are, but him in particular, we've just seen him absolutely nuke weeks. And my third highest owned player is Will Shipley, mostly on DraftKings. 35% of him on DraftKings. And I'll show that board quickly after my next pick. Show you what the Spike Week tools can do for you in terms of your portfolio. So we're going to be coming back up on the clock here in a second. It's so funny just looking at some of these pockets that are drafted with the players. You look at this Breece Hall pocket. It's just so frequently drafted with Brian Thomas Jr., Breece Hall, 19%. I don't think I want to do Jacobs. I think we're going to do Worthy. Actually, let's do Breece Hall. So Brian Thomas, Breece Hall was only, I think, 3% with Jonathan Taylor. So I think that's a fun start. So Brian Thomas, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall. Another 2 RB start for us. So I think this is the Sunday of the dual running back start, which I'm fine with. And we get Brian Thomas as well. The board I wanted to show you guys real quick is, let's look at our draft IQ. And you can kind of see that this is what draft IQ can show you. I have it sorted by my exposure right now, but basically you can see who my highest exposure player is, and then you could see how much you have them on each of the sites. So just a quick peek at that. But we're about to be back on the clock here in a second. So let's go back to drafters. And now that I feel like I've got quite a unique start, I'm not stressing anymore about getting unique players to combine with these guys, because we're already relatively... We have a quarterback run here, which was interesting. Could go... I'm actually going to go DJ Moore again, because I am underweight the number that I want to be on DJ Moore. And I want to make sure that I have more of him. So if you guys don't like it, is all I'm going to say. So we're going to grab DJ Moore. Should have grabbed Tet, maybe. But I do want to get my more exposure up. I feel like I am too underweight the number that I want to be on drafters. So we're going to get more. We're going to change the song, because I think that one played almost twice. It's crazy that I have enough music now to get through 2 drafts, basically, without starting over. We've been building the music library. I know. When push came to shove, I didn't draft that. It's like me, like, he's like falling off the cliff, and I'm like, oh, I'll save you. I'm just slowly putting my hand down. Like, please don't. Please don't fall. And then he falls. And he looks like this, I guess. There's your Gotham appearance for the week. Thanks for the assist, Gotham. I know you care so much. Yeah, I agree, Terrence. I think it's going to be an intriguing watch in Chicago. And maybe J-Mo's the closest, but I just think DJ Moore can do... I don't know. I think DJ Moore is just always underutilized. We're not going to grab Travis Hunter because we're not psychopaths. We'll grab Jawan Jennings because I am trying to get my Jennings exposure up. So my preference is Waddle, but as you can see, I've grabbed way too much Waddle. Trying to tone that back just a tad, not too much. I just think that if we're excited about Chicago, I think we're all cautiously optimistic about Chicago. I don't think anyone's jumped into the deep end with Chicago. We're all like sort of not dipping our toes, but we're sitting on the edge of the pool, kicking our legs back and forth, looking for reasons to launch the rest of our body in. But I think if that's what you're doing, DJ Moore is the guy you should be drafting. It just seems pretty evident to me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is the Steph Dig song, by the way. And I think this song is appropriately the Steph Dig song. I know he plays in New England, but this is very Miami with pink dust floating around. So appropriate. I don't like in terms of Chicago, Rome going in the 6th round is lunacy, right? Can we all agree that Rome in the 6th round is absolute lunacy? I know that this is like a puke range of wide receivers for the most part. Like I guess it's sort of pick your guy and take him. Take your stand on some of these guys in this range. But Jesus. Rome. I mean, Jacoby Myers just actually doesn't exist. Like, I don't care where Jacoby Myers is. I'm not drafting him because LOL. I think we're going to plug our nose and draft Jerry Jeudy. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, that was a big nose plug. Gronk's a good one too. But we've already committed to Steph Diggs on this one. Will Gronk be on the list tomorrow? So we talked a bit about this. Terrence says that if Chicago got an RB in the draft, he'd be excited. I think this will be a growing pain year. These microwave turnaround. I don't trust. I do think that it's going to be a slight growing pain year, but I don't think that means that the offense is like trash as a whole. And I think we're overreacting to the running back thing. I think they've identified that Swift is good enough to do what they want. I think that if they were worried about Swift, they had a million chances to replace him with free agency, with the draft, with J.K. Dobbins. And I think you're seeing that Ben Johnson trust him. It might not have been a Ben Johnson versus DeAndre Swift situation in Detroit. I'm not saying that DeAndre Swift is going to lead the league in rushing. I think that they don't think that that position is a problem for them at the moment. Yeah, I think that's going to really depend on what happens during some of the preseason games. But Chicago, I think, is definitely one that could get crazy hype in the future. Have I not drafted Laporta on? Huh? Would you look at that? Let's continue to not draft Laporta and let's grab Josh Downs. So Rick was asking, he says the hype train is going to be out of control in Chicago by the end of the offseason. What other teams do we think will jump on that train? I think Green Bay could. You got a healthy Jordan Love. If Matthew Golden or Jaden Reed does anything. Kraft is a very slightly above average tight end to average tight end. Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs. We could see Marshawn Lloyd solidify himself as the RB2. I could see people getting really into the Packers as the season goes on. We all already like Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville could... I think you're going to see Jacksonville start to move up the board. We're going to understand what that running back room looks like. And then we're going to understand what Travis Hunter is going to be a little bit more as well. I actually think Travis Hunter will start to slip in drafts, though. I think everyone else will go up, and I think he'll come down. That is my prediction on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So another reason I'm trying to get a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. now. Not that I think that he moves insanely high up, but I think he sort of goes back to where he was at the beginning of the draft cycle. I think this is fine though, Terrence. Like if it's 0-4 start, like even if they start 0-4, we know who's playing on that team all year, right? Let's grab. I just don't have any Justin Fields on drafters yet. And I feel like that's a mistake. And I don't think I need to have Garrett Wilson, but we do have Breece Hall. So I think Justin Fields with Breece Hall is fun. So let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, this is a good one. Denver is the team. Yeah, we all want to see what that wide receiver room looks like a little bit more, and we don't even know if we're going to be able to trust that. But yeah, I want to know a little more about Denver. I've been drafting them. Yeah, but Jacoby's not fun. Nobody's ever had a good time clicking Jacoby Myers. Not one person has ever had fun clicking Jacoby Myers. And if they told you they did, they're liars. Absolute liars. Oh, we are on the clock. I feel like Jalen Warren's a fine click. Probably someone I need to get more of. Adding him with Taylor, Breece Hall, he falls a bit in this draft. Not someone I'm going to be hugely overweight on, but I don't want to accidentally be at 2% on Jalen Warren. I know there's clearly more competition in that backfield this year. I think that Caleb Johnson is obviously Caleb Johnson, and I do worry a little bit about Kenneth Gainwell. Not a ton, but I do worry a bit about Kenneth Gainwell. Oh, I disagree on this take. That St. Brown should be going above Neighbors. I feel he's a steal. If you think St. Brown's a steal, you should be significantly overweight on him, because that range of wide receivers is sort of pick your poison between Puka, Nico, Neighbors, Brian Thomas, and Amon-Ra. Like, if you like 3 of those guys better than the other 2, you can get significantly overweight. So I have no argument against any guy that you like there. I just have my preferred guys. But if you are feeling strongly about a couple of them, you should just be overweight those guys. Martin says, maybe I'm wrong for this thought process, but Justin Fields without Garrett Wilson in a season-long contest feels wrong. I actually think it's completely fine, because Justin Fields is also going to give us a ton of points running as well. And we have who could be his second target, which is Breece Hall. So I don't think you want to get into the habit of only drafting. We'll continue this conversation shortly. Another Caleb team? Let's do it. I don't have a lot of Caleb, so even though I'm overweight DJ Moore, I haven't been stacking them. So we'll get 2 Caleb DJ Moore stacks today. We've also done like a Jets stack here with Fields and Breece Hall, and we've done downs with Jonathan Taylor. But I think it's fine. And I also think that when you start looking into things, maybe I'll look into it this week, but certain wide receivers are just getting drafted at an enormous clip with their quarterback. And I haven't looked at the Garrett Wilson one, but I would venture to guess it's higher than what we would want. So it doesn't mean you should never do it, but it also means that's not all you should be doing. I am the KY says he has a team with all 6 Browns. It looked okay before Noah's MRI. Do you mean all 6 Browns quarterbacks? Yeah, so I think that some people, and I think that's part of the problem of some of the first round, second round, and occasionally third round wide receivers, is as soon as you draft one of them, you put in your head you have to draft quarterback X. And like when you grab Chase, you've already put in Burrow in your mind, which you should, but Lamb, you're putting Dak in your head, Nico, CJ Stroud, maybe. Garrett Wilson, definitely Justin Fields. Yeah. And Fields does fall sometimes, as RGT says. So yeah, I think there's plenty of ways to play Justin Fields. I think he's fine solo. Oh, I got you. I thought you meant like the Cleveland Browns. Let's grab Luther Burden for a Chicago double. Feels fun. Doesn't it sound like I'm having fun? Chicago is not a team that I generally stack, as we were talking about earlier. They are typically one-offs. I really like to play Moore as a one-off, Swift as a one-off, Luther Burden as a one-off, for all the reasons we brought up earlier with Terrence. Houston is asking, do we think that a healthy JSN will be Darnold's Jefferson? I'm big on JSN. I mean, always tough to compare a guy to arguably the best receiver in the league, definitely one of the 2 best receivers in the league. I think there is a good amount of potential upside with JSN, but there is a lot of volatility that could happen within that Seahawks offense. So I'd be cautiously optimistic in drafting JSN. If you really like him, by all means, get him. I'm going to draft him. He's just not going to be a guy that I'm heavily overweight on. So I think there are a lot of red flags in that Seattle offense this year. Doesn't mean to take 0%, but when I take them, I'm generally not stacking them, and it's one-offs. And my preferred play is through the backfield. And now we have broken down the Seattle Seahawks. Let's move on to our next pick, which is coming up here. Yeah, and I think this is a big part of it. And Terrence brings up Kevin O'Connell being with Darnold last year. Deludo says he likes Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo is actually running to the computer to say thank you. He'll be here in 30 minutes. This is Deludo. This will be your worst take of the entire year. I know you're joking, but ouch. Let's grab Lawrence. Speaking of grabbing the quarterback with the wide receiver that everyone looks for. And we're going to grab Lawrence after not paying attention to our team and realizing that we've drafted 3 quarterbacks because we were too busy making fun of Deludo. But that's fine. We meant to do that. We meant to draft 3 quarterbacks. All right. If anyone tells you I didn't, they're liars, probably. Did we just set ourselves up to have to do 3 quarterbacks, probably 3 tight ends, ruining this drafters team? No, we didn't, because we're going to make it great. This is going to be a great team. We're not upset. Nobody here is upset that we drafted 3 quarterbacks after drafting Fields and Caleb Williams. We're not pissed off. We're not angry. We didn't waste a bullet. This is going as planned. Gotham's not worried. He hasn't moved. So everybody just relax. Yeah, see? It's a good safety blanket. We're all about safety blankets here on this one particular draft. Also, suck it. That's what we have to say about that. And now we're just going to dance. Self says it seems like a 4 quarterback build, maybe. We've never coped during a draft first year. We've never talked through it. We don't make mistakes. We make happy accidents. And this is a happy accident. All right. Let's go ahead and let up Bryce Young. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. We're not doing that. It was a joke. I did want Tyler Algier there. That sucks. That was my preferred method to play this pick. Let's grab Jake Ferguson, tight end, Dallas Cowboys. Is this the normal ADP now for Loveland? At the moment, I think he might drop a little more. There's injury news associated with him, so you might see him drop a little bit more. All right, we are a 3-3-6-1 build at the moment through 13 rounds. Oh my God. What a great team we've drafted. Purple shows correlation with our quarterback over here on the right side of the screen. Yellow shows team correlation. We are going to have an interesting decision coming up. Unless somebody makes that decision for us. I don't know if we're going to take Cameron Ward or Matthew Stafford, honestly. Which one? Oh, they both go. Do we want Roshan or do we want Brenton Strange here? I'm going to grab Strange, I think. Let's get the Jacksonville double. We have a Chicago double. We have a Jacksonville double. I'm fine with Fields just being stacked with Breece Hall. That seems okay to me. I think we can backfill running back very easily. I think we can salvage his team. I mean, continue to build on this great team that we've already started building. That's the other thing. I think Roshan is extremely overpriced. I was only going to do it for the team correlation on this. 14th round Roshan. I don't love it. I don't love it. I think Roshan is getting fucking overhyped. I think people picking him as the safe backup in Chicago is insane. We don't know what that depth chart is at the moment. Other than DeAndre Swift is going to get work. And we don't even know what the backup's there right now. Don't know what you're trying to say here, Massive Audio. You've just named 3 different companies. So, congrats, I guess, on knowing all the sites. That's awesome. We will be on the clock here in a second. Ooh, Nick Chubb goes. We do get Roshan to fall back to us. Ugh. I mean, I like Dowdle way more than Roshan, but maybe we just lean into this Chicago thing. Maybe we're doing too much team level correlation on drafters as well. I'm gonna grab Dowdle. I think there's we do plenty of DraftKings and underdog drafts on this channel as well. I do mostly drafters and DraftKings. I spend my money where I think it gets the best value. And I think your best value for your money right now is drafters, DraftKings, and then third on the list is underdog. So in years past, I was mostly underdog. And this year, it's barely underdog for me. I like both. So I Dowdle, I like Chuba. I take both. Again, we're building out portfolios, so I can play it both ways. They're not mutually exclusive of each other. I think that Chuba is obviously the better player, and if you had a 1v1, I'd prefer Chuba over Dowdle. But Dowdle is a 15th round pick and a backfield that is a 2-headed monster, basically. Trevor Etienne is not cracking that backfield, so that's where I'm at with the Carolina backfield. I'll have more Dowdle, even though I prefer Chuba. It's like Walker and Charbonnet. I think Walker's the better player, but I think Charbonnet is always the better value, and I just take more Charbonnet because he's easier to get. And sort of the way I play that. Let's grab Jaquiz Hunter. I was looking at Giddens for a second, but I remember we took Jonathan Taylor. And just the last little segment on that, drafters / DK / underdog. We're firing drafters right now because we're trying to take advantage of the promo that they're giving away. We're trying to utilize as much of that as we can. So I need to draft 19 more drafters teams by the end of the month to get to the next tier of that. So if I'm drafting, it's probably on drafters right now. I'll even be firing one more off stream at some point later today, I would imagine. Most likely. All right, let's go over the team with 4 picks left. Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, because we meant to draft 3 quarterbacks. We have Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle, Jaquiz Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., DJ Moore, Jawan Jennings, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Downs, Luther Burden, Jake Ferguson, and Brenton Strange. I think it's fine for now. I think it is fine. Just want to remind everybody after our next pick about something. I think this is a fine Slayton team as well. We'll grab Darius Slayton on this one as well. Tomorrow night, we talked about it earlier, but tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, myself and Eric will be doing the Best Ball Basement. And it's one of the few times we won't be drafting a team. But again, we are going to go through jersey numbers 00 to 99 and telling you who the best player to wear that jersey number of all time was between the 4 major sports: football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. Houston says he's going to check out drafters now. Make sure that you use promo code SPIKE to get a deposit bonus. If you're firing on to drafters for the first time. Is Slayton the lowest? I go for Giants receivers. Yeah. I mean, well, I guess like if you say Theo Johnson, if we're talking just specifically wide receiver, yeah. I mean, I'm not drafting Wandale. So skip Wandale. I'll draft Slayton. I'll draft some Theo Johnson. But where else do we really want to go at that point? You know, it's a tough one. We are on the clock. We didn't get him last time. Let's just grab Taj Brooks in the 18th round because we're psychos and we can do whatever we want. And when I have Taylor, Brees Hall, Jalen Warren, and Rico Dowdle, I really want to just add pure upside guys to them. So let's do that. Oh, wow. KY. I was going to try to push Davian Sanders to round 19. That was kind of my plan. Probably did that the wrong way. Nice grab. Nice pick. Oh, you had already taken him. I was looking at him and didn't realize that you took him. Disregard. Disregard. You had already taken him. Look at us. Not knowing anything. Look at us. And then DeLuto grabs Arroyo, who I was looking at grabbing with this next pick. Interesting. Very, very interesting. AL season is trying to get to that 75 mark. Probably will. Nice job on that. That additional couple tickets. Very, very smart. I would like a wide receiver. Let's grab Tutu. I think you can provide us a game or two. All right. I know how we're going to end this team. By throwing it into a blender, I think. I think we're going to throw it into a blender. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone that we're going to blender this team. I think it's fine. But I think it's just fine. I think if you squint, you can see this min caching. That's all I'm going to say about it. Because we're drafting portfolios, quite frankly. That's how you can just justify any team that you draft. Like, it's just I was doing it for the portfolio, obviously. Why else would I have Fields, Caleb Williams, and then draft Trevor Lawrence? Obviously, I needed that for the portfolio. God, it's going to be lights out if I can figure out a Chargers tight end to draft in the future. All right, we're going to draft Harold Fannin Jr. If we're going to take a swing at a third tight end, we might as well do it with an upside guy. Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle, Jarquez Hunter, Taj Brooks at running back, Brian Thomas, DJ Moore, Jawan Jennings, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Downs, Luther Burden, Darius Slayton, Tutu Atwell at wideout, Jake Ferguson, Brenton Strange, Harold Fannin Jr. at our tight end spot. That is going to do it for this particular draft, for this particular stream. Make sure you are joining the Discord over at Spike Week. We have a premium Discord where you can discuss all things best ball, amongst other things. Make sure you're using promo code Spike if you're signing up for Drafters for the first time, and make sure you are subscribed to our channel. As I play the outro, it's going to talk about hot takes, and tomorrow night is going to be the hottest of hot takes that we've ever had. Make sure you wear your battle garments tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to go to war over these jersey numbers, I believe. So we will see you tomorrow. I will catch you on that stream. Until then, make sure you're drafting. Have a good time doing that. Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.